Section 37. According to a survey, 3 in 5 people today are indifferent to foreign affairs. What will become of Japan-U.S. relations if the security treaty expires? Unless Japan eliminates its unfair tariffs, the U.S. will impose sanctions. Trade friction might arise between the two nations at any moment. Our top priority is to settle this dispute once and for all, so we are ready to meet them halfway. The federal budget was narrowly approved by Congress. He argues that the administration must look for alternative sources of revenue. A poll shows that an overwhelming majority is in favor of the legislation.
Section 38. The cops are searching for clues to the brutal murder. The man must be insane. He can't distinguish vice from virtue. The fingerprints left on the weapon correspond with the suspects. It took us all by surprise when the noted psychologist was accused of kidnapping. The jury's guilty verdict gave rise to widespread debate. The man pleaded for mercy, but he was sentenced to 20 years in prison for his crime. The officer on duty perceived an elderly man coming up behind him. He caught sight of a thief attempting to break into the house. The day before yesterday, he witnessed a weird incident in the wilderness.
Section 39.
I became aware of someone staring at me from across the aisle, so I turned around. But there was no one in sight.
She screamed with horror as someone took hold of her arm. Informed of her safety, he breathed a sigh of relief. The bullet penetrated his chest, leaving him in critical condition. At present, it's still uncertain whether it was done deliberately or by accident. A deli caught fire and burned down, leaving a heap of ashes. All of a sudden, the fireworks warehouse exploded, and it took 2 days to put out the blaze. A bomb went off in a 30-story building, and more than 50 people were seriously wounded. A cargo vessel bound for Athens sank in the Mediterranean without a trace. The reckless men froze to death during their expedition to the Antarctic. The tragedy must be remembered so as not to be repeated.
Section 40. The exhibition offers profound insights into ancient civilization. Giotto is credited with sowing the seeds of the Italian Renaissance. Bob mounted the portrait in a fancy frame, but it was upside down. This magnificent cathedral dates back to the Middle Ages. Asian religions inspired him to create splendid sculptures. They explored the desert in search of buried treasure. The millionaire insisted on acquiring the masterpiece no matter how much it cost. Myths and legends should be handed down from generation to generation. The linguist is fluent in several Chinese dialects. The tribe worships its ancestors and speaks its own language, which is not familiar to us. The anthropologist says old customs still prevail in the province. The wicked witch cast an evil spell on the man and turned him into a bug. They proceeded along the steep path, which was the sole access to the border. When a big ape emerged from the cave, they got frightened and ran away. Believe it or not, I saw an alien, and then it vanished.
Give me a break. Section 41. Quite a few people have been invited to celebrate the couple's anniversary. It won't be long before everything is ready. In the meantime, help yourself to some snacks. Dressed in a loud and peculiar outfit, she stood out in the crowd. All the guests were touched by her hospitality. Her shabby clothes were not suitable for the occasion. That topic is too intimate to share with casual acquaintances. When Tom gets drunk, he gets crude and offensive. Stay away from him. He could hardly comprehend what she was implying. Bob felt embarrassed when he was teased in front of some girls. His ambiguous reply made her all the more irritated. Bob is very timid and blushes when chatting with girls. Nick looks down on anyone who comes from a rural area.
What's the matter, Bob? You look so miserable.
Leave me alone. It's none of your business. Although Bob was in disguise, I recognized him at a glance. What are you chuckling about?
Bob, you have your sweatshirt on backwards.
Oops.
Section 42. He is not good at making friends and always keeps to himself. Having found no place he felt he belonged, he was extremely uneasy and lonely. I found it pretty hard to adjust to my new surroundings. I felt utterly out of place among those sophisticated people. To tell the truth, I don't like classical music. On the other hand, Molly is really into it. Bob derives pleasure from observing insects. How about playing cards or something for a change?
Sorry, I'm not up for it.
After you.
No, please, you go ahead.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
His niece is sociable and mature for her age. She could pass for 20-something. Take care of yourself and say hi to your family for me.
I will. See you later.
I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Sincerely.
Section 43. Can you spare a minute? I'd like to discuss something of importance to both of us. It may seem trivial to you, but for me it's worth paying attention to. As far as Bob is concerned, anything goes. By contrast, Jane is very cautious. After an awkward pause, Bill took her by the hand and dragged her upstairs. Bill just wanted to comfort Monica, but she interpreted it as romantic interest. After making sure she was sound asleep, he crept out of the room and set off. Between you and me, Lisa, I came across Nick passionately embracing a woman. Such a remark is open to misunderstanding.
I can't stand it anymore.
Calm down. I'll come over as soon as possible. Don't take it literally. He is inclined to exaggerate.
You should apologize to Lisa for making fun of her. You went too far this time.
Yeah, I will. Sometime when she's in a better mood. Lisa, are you getting along with Nick?
Once in a while, I think of divorcing him.
You must be kidding. In tears, she tore up his letter and threw it away.
Section 44.
Jennifer deceived me.
You should have known better than to trust her. Tom regretted having wasted a great deal of his life. I cannot look back on my adolescence without feeling depressed.
Jennifer left me for another guy.
Oh, you must be upset.
Not really. I'm used to it. No wonder she didn't show up to see him off.
How come?
They broke up.
Oh, what a pity. Living here all by myself is torture, he sobbed. To be honest, I'm crazy about Ken because he's brave, self-confident, and never afraid of taking risks. If I were you, I'd ask him out.
I've been going with Jennifer on and off for ages.
You're as indecisive as ever. Isn't it about time you settled down?
It dawned on me that I had been taken in by Jennifer all along.
How naive. Didn't you see through her?
Even though she is seeing someone else, I won't give her up. Hi, Jane. What's up?
Not much. How about you?
I got married to Jennifer.
Wow, congratulations! Whenever you're in trouble or feeling down, I'll be there for you. Delight is the opposite of sorrow.
Jennifer went so far as to call me an idiot, and she wouldn't take it back.
Serves you right. You provoked her, didn't you? Why do you put up with her arrogance? She's just taking advantage of you.
Shut up.
Take your time. I know you need a couple of days to reflect on it. Bob has to get through this ordeal on his own.
Section 45. Flies and mosquitoes interfered with his meditation. The sacred ritual took place after being postponed twice. All at once, the Buddhist priest burst into laughter, spoiling the solemn atmosphere. Cover your mouth when you cough, sneeze, or yawn. One of her relatives passed away 3 days ago.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm so sorry.
Besides attending the funeral, she needs to make all the arrangements. I feel for you, Jane. Grief doesn't fade away quickly.
I'm okay. I'll get over it.
She cherishes the precious memories of her childhood. Speaking of Jennifer, she got engaged to a businessman.
I'm at a loss for words. I hope she won't break it off.
These days, the motives for marriage are not necessarily pure. Take Jennifer, for example. Go easy on Bob. You know he's been going through a rough period recently.
By the way, do you have the time?
Let's see. It's 7:45.
Let's call it a day, Bob. I'm starved.
Yep, I'll buy you dinner.